Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well and welcome to the channel. And in today's video we are going to be building this fluid effect using SwiftUI. So it's going to be purely SwiftUI based, no Lottie animation, and we're going to be building everything from scratch. So we're going to be building custom shapes to show how you can create this wave effect, and we are also going to see how you can use mask to basically just show the part where waves are moving. So we're going to use this glass image, a transparent image for a glass, to sort of achieve the effect. And it is fully interactive, so as you can see, you can actually make the glass full or make it half. So this is going to be the project for today that we're going to be doing. And so let's go ahead and get started. So before we start, I just wanted to highlight that there is a free course available to you all on devtechie.com. So just go to www.devtechie.com, and as soon as you land on the homepage, there's a free course available, and give it a go. And while you're there, check out our other courses. There are a whole bunch of them, and I'm adding new ones so every so often. There is also a blog that talks a lot of things about new in SwiftUI, and a whole bunch of stuff, like for example property wrapper and how you can create your own property wrappers and stuff like that. So check out the free course, and like I said, it's available to you all, so go ahead and sign up and basically just get started. Okay, so going back to the project for the day, we are going to start with first we're going to start with our shape. So we're going to create a custom shape, and that shape we're going to use to build out this effect. Okay, so we're going to call this, we're going to create a struct called wave, and this is going to conform to shape protocol. We're going to need few properties. So we're going to have offset, and offset is going to be of type angle, and percent is going to be of type double. Percent is basically how much percentage of the water is filled. That's what we are representing, and we're going to use that to basically adjust the wave size. Okay, and we're going to create animatable data for this. Okay, and animatable data is going to help us animate these values. So we're going to create this as a type double, and we're going to animate on the offset for the degree. Okay, so we're going to say if whenever the data for offset dot degree is returned, animate that, whenever it is get call, whenever it's a set call or the value is being set, that make that animatable as well. Okay, so we're gonna use degrees, and we get the value for access to new value, and we're gonna use that. All right, next thing, the only required function for the shape protocol is called path. Okay, and we need to provide the definition for the path. Now path gives us access to the rectangle within which this shape is drawn, so we're going to use that to basically adjust the size of our path. Okay, so first we're going to create a local path variable called path of type path. Okay, and we're going to return this path. Okay, path, there we go. Okay, and we're going to return this. All right, and we're going to do everything else in between. Okay, so first thing we need to compute is the height of the wave. Okay, so wave height, and this can be anything. Let's start with 0.035. okay, this is gonna be a really deep wave, but we'll actually adjust that, and we're gonna multiply this with the rectangle's height so we can adjust to the size of the overall rectangle that's been given to us where the path has been drawn. Okay, next thing we're gonna need is y offset, Okay, and this is going to be a CG float value, and we're going to use a simple formula to compute that. So 1 minus percentage, and we're going to then multiply this with rectangle dot height minus 4 times wave height, okay, plus 2 times wave height. This is gonna give us an offset. Okay, so these two guys are now ready to be used. As you can see, like, you know, we are getting the like some complaint from the compiler that this path is this variable is never muted and this variable is initialized immutable, but like, you know, it's not used anywhere. So we're going to use it in a minute. Let's compute a start angle where we're going to start our wave. So we're going to start at the offset, okay, and the end angle is going to be offset plus angle in degrees 360. So we're always gonna, like, you know, end at 360. So start angles are gonna be different. Now we're gonna take our path and move it to a CG point, okay, and the x value for the CG point is gonna be 0. Y value is gonna be the y offset that we computed plus wave height, okay, and we're gonna multiply this with a CG float value for a sine. Okay, so sine is, like, you know, your cos sine tan, all the math going back, like, you know, to, like, you know, high school math, and, like, you know, we're gonna use that sine wave and we're gonna use our offset and get its radian and convert it into a sine value, and then we're gonna get the CG float and multiply that to the wave height. So this is gonna give us a smooth wave, sine wave. Okay, so it's gonna move our path to that. Now we're gonna say for angle in the stride. Okay, so stride is something that we're gonna that we need to get. So we're gonna say stride from, okay, and we're gonna get the stride from the start angle dot degree, okay, and we're gonna say we are looking for the overload that takes from, through, and by from, through, and by. Okay, so we're gonna change this to through, okay, and I'm gonna just say the through is going to be end angle dot degree, and by is basically a number, so we're gonna start with 10, let's say. Okay, now we're gonna get an angle for each stride, and what we can do is we can compute a value of x location where we want to add next line. So we're gonna say CG float, and we're gonna simply get the angle, and we're gonna subtract the start angle dot degree, okay, and divide that by 360. This is gonna give us the new x value within arc. So rect dot width, all right, and we're gonna add a line, and we're gonna add line to CG point, all right, and CG point, the x value is going to be the x location that we just computed, and the y is going to be y offset plus wave height, okay, and then we're gonna multiply this wave height with a CG float value of a sine value. We're gonna compute a sine value from an angle, and this angle is gonna take the degree value for the angle, okay, and get us the radian for that. Okay, so this is gonna basically add those lines for the angle, and, like, you know, then we're gonna say path dot add line to CG point rect dot width and rect dot height, okay, and then we're gonna add another line to CG point y at 0 and rect dot height. So we're gonna actually, we're getting ready to reach to the other side. Basically we start maximum value, width and height, and minimum value for the x, which is 0, and create the incomplete wave. And we're gonna say path dot close subpath. Okay, so this is basically going to get us the radian, and this is not p, this is just path. Okay, so yeah, so this is basically gonna get us that wave that we need to create the entire effect. Okay, so now we're gonna go back to our view, and what I'm using here is a PNG for a glass. Okay, so this is the PNG for the glass that I'm using. Okay, and that's what I'm going to use for masking. But before we use that, we are going to create a few state variables. So we're going to create state private var %, and this is basically how much percent we want to initially show. So I'm going to say 30%, for example, and then I'm going to say state private var for another one, wave offset. Okay, so we're gonna have two waves. First one is gonna have an offset angle of 0. Okay, and then another one which is gonna have wave offset angle of 180. Okay, 180. There we go. Okay, so now what we can do is we can create a v-stack. All right, inside the v-stack we're going to create a z-stack with the alignment, and alignment by default is center. I'm just gonna put it out there, and then we're gonna have a rectangle. Okay, this rectangle is let me start the canvas so we can see. This rectangle is going to be filled with color dot gray dot opacity 0.1, and then it's gonna have a frame of 400 by 400. Okay, all right, so if we resume we should see the what's the oh, okay, yeah, perfect. Okay, so we're gonna have a rectangle, and let me go ahead and resume this view on the canvas, and there we go, we have our rectangle created. I'm gonna hit play so it's not highlighting where we are drawing. First we're gonna create our wave. Okay, so we're gonna say wave, and I'm gonna have an offset. Offset is gonna be once again an angle with a degree, and we're gonna use the wave offset that we have created, self dot wave offset dot degrees. We're gonna get that. Okay, and for the percentage we're gonna say this is gonna be a double value computed by percent. There's an N missing there. Okay, so percent, and we need to divide that percent by 100. Okay, I think this value should already be in double, so let's see. All right, so there we go. So we have our wave created right there. Okay, now we can actually fill this with a for example color dot cyan. Okay, so we're gonna fill this with cyan color, and then we're gonna give it a frame of the same frame as the rectangle. So we're gonna I'm gonna use actually I had it 440 for the height, so I'm gonna use 400 and 440 for that, and there we go. Okay, so that is our wave. Now as you can see, our wave is now inside, or sitting on the top of our rectangle. Okay, and then we're gonna create another wave. Okay, so I'm gonna actually copy this guy and paste it right here, and the angle is gonna be offset 2. Okay, the percent is gonna be same. All right, and the opacity, let's set it 0.5 for the second wave. So as you can see, now it looks more or less like a wave. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually create a slider. Okay, and slider I'm going to create outside the Z stack because I want the slider to show up right underneath. Okay, and we're gonna bind this slider to the percent, so $%. Okay, and the value is gonna go is between 0 to 100. All right, so 0 to 100 basically on this rectangle. So if I do like this, right, it actually takes me there. Let me add some padding around it. Okay, perfect. So as you can see, now our wave is filling the space that we have. All right, so that's our wave filling up, but we don't have the animation yet. So let's go ahead and add the animation. Then I'm gonna add your mask on the top. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we are going to say on appear. Okay, we're gonna perform some of the changes, but we're gonna perform those changes inside the animation block, and we're gonna say animation dot linear. We're gonna set the duration to be, let's start with 1 second. I'm starting a lot of things that are different from the original design that we have, or like the demo that we saw, and the reason is we want to come back and see how adjusting those is going to make the difference. Okay, so I'm going to say self.wave offset, and that one is going to be angle degrees 360. Okay, and if I copy that and paste it, and the second one I'm going to set it to so as you can see right now, the front wave is moving, but the back one is not. So let's go ahead and move that one too. And as you can see, now we have our waves moving. I'm going to set it to 2 seconds, okay, for both of them. And now we have both of our waves moving. Okay, so now what we can do is we can actually mask this. Okay, so let me show you our fill still works. Okay, and let me go ahead. Yeah, so let me go ahead and start the masking. So actually, you know what, this one I think we can keep it the same width and height. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to mask. Okay, so I want to put this whole wave inside a glass, right? So we can do that. The way we can do it is by taking this Z stack, okay, and apply a mask. Sorry, not the right place. Apply a mask on this, and mask can be any view. I'm going to use an image, and I'm going to say I have an image called glass. Okay, and I want to use that, make it resizable, and then set the you can set the frame, or you can make it resizable, fit within that space. Okay, so as you can see now, our glass is sort of like filling, right? Let me make the frame as well, frame to be the same as the okay, so now we are going to make some adjustments. For example, we're going to see if we can adjust the size of the wave. That makes some difference. His wave is not so deep, first of all, right? And if you want to make a deep wave, you can actually do that by applying, by changing this wave height value, that multiplier that we have. All right, so I'm going to keep it 0.2. Okay, and the other thing that we need to actually check out, first of all, let's see, Our animation speed is 2. That's perfect. Okay. All right, so yeah, so we have everything. So there is this sort of if you see this motion that's not smooth, and the reason is because I'm actually setting wave offset twice instead of setting wave offset for the second one. So now, as you can see, our glass, our wave is actually, our fluid motion is much more fluid. Okay, so what I'm going to do is okay, first of all, I'm gonna remove this frame to show you how that way our image mask basically adapts the size of the space for the rectangle itself in this case. Okay, so that's not needed. The other thing that we can adjust now is let's say if we want a deep wave, right? So but this actually does not look much natural. This looks much better, so I'm gonna actually make it even small. For example, let's say if we have 9, yeah, so this to me looks much better. Okay, or actually, you know what, let's leave it at 1.5 or 1.0. okay, yeah, perfect. Okay, so this is actually, you know what, I'm gonna go back to 0.5. Okay, yeah, so this is much better. Basically this is what we have, the final outcome, our wave filling up the glass based upon the percentage, but also has this continuous flow motion. Okay, all right, so with that we have reached the end of this video. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and once again thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, hit subscribe, like, and bell icon, and don't forget to check out devtechie.com, and don't forget to claim your free video course. Okay, so I'll see you guys in another video. Thank you.